Hello and welcome back to my channel. 82 new images have been released for the End of the Fucking World Season 2, and I am now going to show you all of them and break down what I think they all could mean. Without any more hesitation, let's go. This will be done in a random order. The first picture shows Alyssa sitting on a bed in her wedding dress in what looks like Gus's motel. The next image is the first of many where Alyssa and Bonnie are sitting together in the cafe out in the woods. This is likely just after Bonnie has tracked down Alyssa, and she is either pretending to be friendly or explaining everything to her. There is also a random fat lady there whom I have no clue who is. Following this, we have an image of Alyssa in her dress once again, looking very sad. This further proves my hypothesis from my two other prediction videos that she is forcefully getting married or attending some sort of memorial for James. Then we have a picture of a gun and a bun on a table, which is probably Bonnie's food in the cafe or somewhere else. We then see Bonnie out in the woods, likely the same woods the cafe is in. After this, we see her staring into a mirror and then standing outside the same cafe she and Alyssa were in previously. Alyssa is then once again shown being out in the woods in her dress. I don't know whether she has run away from her family or if she's on her way to the ceremony, but we'll get to see a bit more of this situation in later photos. We then see her sitting on a stool in the cafe at what looks to be late in the day, seeing as the room is relatively dark. Following this, we have a picture of a black man in a shop, looking like the store owner. This is another brand new character named Kevin. That seems like a bit of an unusual name to me, but what do I know about names? Then we have Alyssa and her mom trying on Alyssa's new dress. If you look closely in the mirror, you can see that she looks a bit happier than usual. In the next image, however, she is back in the motel in her dress, talking on the phone and looking sad as ever. After this, there is an image of Bonnie in what looks like a hospital. Maybe this could be where James is being held. It could also be a police station, a hotel, or literally any other building though. We then see two pictures of Bonnie, one where she is in the sofa and one where she is on the toilet. The first image is a screenshot from the trailer I talked about yesterday. We then see one of the most intriguing new images in my opinion, that being one of Alyssa and her mom walking into a ceremony with her wedding dress on. Honestly, at this point, if it isn't a wedding, I do not know. A picture was released before of a casket in what looked like a room of the same caliber, so it could be a funeral for someone, but I wouldn't expect them to be wearing a white wedding dress for an occasion like that. We see one more image of Bonnie in her sofa, this time in other clothes. This confirms that this room will be a reoccurring place we will return to multiple times throughout the season. We then see Alyssa and two other ladies sitting on a bench outside a building, perhaps a recreational vehicle. It seems a bit large for that, however, so I don't know for sure what it could be. Leave your theories down in the comments below. Then we see Alyssa back in the motel, this time without a dress on. This is most likely after the ceremony. We see a picture of Bonnie as a child, confirming we'll see flashbacks of her childhood, just like we did with James in Season 1. We see Bonnie back in the cafe, and this time we can confirm that the food with the gun in the previous picture was in fact Bonnie's from the cafe. We then see Bonnie driving a car out in the woods. In the first picture she looks a bit younger than in the second one, but that could just be me being a blind idiot. We then see her in a much more fancy diner all alone. There is another picture of her as a kid, one of her in a hut or the cafe, and one of her looking frightened. Could this be the police scaring her, or possibly James or Alyssa? We then see Bonnie looking into Alyssa's car and smiling. This is most likely before their meeting in the cafe. We see Alyssa back on the bridge from the teaser clip I talked about yesterday. We then see Bonnie in a shop sweating like crazy. She is either frightened or has just escaped from someone, or even run a marathon. Following this, we see a big plot twist. I personally thought the black woman in the middle was a psychologist or psychiatrist, but it turns out it's Bonnie's mother. Shout out to the channel Daddy for pointing this out to me before I could realize it myself. As I'm writing this, I'm also just now realizing that her father looks an awful lot like the dude in the store from before, only much younger. We see Bonnie back in the cafe, and now there is a police officer there too, as mentioned before. We have still seen nothing of Eunice and only a single shot of Terry, so I wonder if this guy is going to be one of the new main officers we follow through the season. We then see Alyssa and her mom in the hut out in the woods, as well as a random woman that I have no idea who is. We then see another picture of Alyssa and her mom trying the dress on Alyssa, only this time the mother is seemingly comforting her daughter. We see more of younger Bonnie in the sofa, and then more of the police officer inside the cafe with Alyssa and Bonnie. We then see Alyssa walking into the cafe with regular clothes on, and then a brand new character. This could literally be anyone in the whole wide world, so I won't even get into who I think it could be. If you want to speculate about it, feel free to do so in the comments section below or in my Discord server. The link is in the description below. Actually, I just want to say that he looks a bit like Phil, James's father. Only if he was much younger and had some hair. We see Alyssa in the diner looking worried as the police officer looks at her, and one image of her doing the washing up. Then, after a pic of her in the woods dressed all nicely in her dress, we see the money shot. Alyssa is at a party with balloons, gifts, alcohol, guests, and some letters saying Mr. and Mrs. in the background. A card on the table says, "Happily ever after, Mr. and Mrs." So we know for sure that someone, most likely Alyssa and hopefully James, have gotten married. The officer is then looking fresh as ever. Bonnie looks smug as fuck as she stands outside the bathroom in a motel. She is then seen in a weird building that I have not a single clue what could be, aside from a museum or a crazy person's home. She's then back in her car. After this, we see her handing Alyssa the vial she ends up using for her dress. I have no clue whether this takes place before or after the wedding. What do you all think? We see a couple more pics of Alyssa and Bonnie by the cafe, and then a close-up of the new black dude in the store. After another pic of young Bonnie, we get to see Alyssa serving what looks to be the same man from the picture before that looked like a young Phil. We then finally see another image of the motel owner, Gus. Alyssa is checking in along with a shadowy figure, whom I'm guessing is blocked out to avoid spoilers. I'm crossing my fingers for it being James. The final 3 images are nothing special, just some final looks at Alyssa and Bonnie before we end the video. So, this was just a relatively quick summary of the newly released pictures for Season 2 of The End of the Fucking World. I'm sad there has been no news of James yet, but I'm super stoked and excited to watch the new season when it drops. I will of course continue to make videos on all the updates that get released until the season drops. Until next time though, bye bye!